Good afternoon, grade 11 and grade 12. Can you please remind your other classmates to join our conference now? Thank you. Again, grade 11 and grade 12, can you please remind your other classmates to join our conference now? Thank you. So while we are waiting for the others, let us first watch some of
This
the
is a pep talk
output of
intentionally
our
made
grade
for
12
Annika.
students,
Me.
their work immersion
Well,
subject.
specifically the Annika 5 to 6 years from now. Hey Annika, you probably graduated from your dream school already. I hope you actually got into your dream school. If you didn't, then it's okay. It's not that big of a problem, as long as you're happy. You could also be looking for a job position at a law firm somewhere. Yes, in case you forgot, you are planning to be a lawyer. A lawyer who wishes to help the marginalized and the people who seek for justice but don't receive it. You see, we've got one heck of a country. Overdue debts, the pandemic, spending millions for an infrastructure made out of styrofoam. You have got to be kidding me. Seriously, look at Taiwan. They managed to get out of quarantine lockdown months after the pandemic outbreak. They have their people partying at clubs. Hello, can the Philippine government hear me? So now you, the future me, got to hear my sentiments once more and one of the reasons why you want an attorney title. But why am I giving you this pep talk? It's because the Annika now is feeling anxious, nervous, and is having second thoughts about actually getting into the field of law. Because I am scared that I might not be able to pass the bar exam. Because I am scared that I might regret my choices. That's why I applied for psychology, because it seems like a course that can help me survive any job. But what's the point of surviving if you, future Annika, won't be able to do what you love? That's why the Annika now thinks law is the perfect choice. Take a look. You love helping people. You love to be there for others. You love seeing others fight for what they love, and you love to fight with your voice and intelligence. You want to have money to support your future family. You want to give back to your parents and to every single person who supported you, and you crave for justice. You get to have it all while being a lawyer. Did I manage to convince you, future me? You probably got the diploma. Go enroll at the law school right now. You can wear a turtle blazer and slacks like Elle Woods from Legally Blonde. You can be comfortable with using law jargons on a daily basis. Stop babbling about your opinions. And what makes you think you can deprive me of my freedom of expression? Knock knock, Bill of Rights, Section 4? Are we getting it? Are we getting in? Are we taking it all in? Come on, future Annika. This is to remind you that you are definitely choosing the right career path. Okay? We got this. So, if you are feeling doubtful, insecure, sad, or want to go back to the past and rethink your choices, listen to this pep talk again. Because in the end, we do regret things in the past, but we are not our regrets. And you, future Annika, you are wherever the successful and powerful woman you are right now, with the power to shape your day and the rest of your life and everyone else who deserves it. That's why we are going to be Attorney Annika King. It's time to make the world a better place, Annika. If not you, then who? After all, we are doing this for the Lord.
Okay, so that was the pep talk of Annika for her future self. Thank you so much, Annika, from the grade 12 Altair Humes. Okay, so let's check first. So there are already 61 people in our meet, and I think very reasonable number of people to start our conference. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our virtual conference on career in research. To start with, let us have Sir Fedi Hunsay to lead us a prayer and for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let us remember that we are in the holy presence of God. Let us pause in silence for our personal prayers, for our prayers with our loved ones and the people whom we want to pray at this moment. And let us remember them in our prayers. God of truth and beauty, you give each one of us the desire to seek the truth. Fire us with the thirst of knowledge and grace and blessing. Let us use that knowledge to build the community of justice. God of glory, show us your splendor in the heavens, the earth, and the mystery of each person. May we see your presence and warming love in the gifts of education. May we reverence your presence. Shower with much blessings and love the participants of this career talk, students, organizers, and the speaker. God of companion and journey, you touch our restless hearts as we search for you. Help us support our friends, parents, teachers, and significant people in their quest for you. Be present with us today in the struggles of life as we journey together. God of unity and peace, you inspired us to live our life in the serenity of your love. May we always live together in harmony and be in one mind, in one heart. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang mag-ibig, kaya sa sinatanan, alam ng puso, sa tinig mo'y buhay. Lupang pinilang, kuya ka ng mag-ibig, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisingin, sa nagagang tutok sa simula, sa langit mo'y bangaw, ay hinatang tulakaw, sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isa kang matawad mo'y tagumpay ka nag-iindig, ang bituin at karangyang ilan, ang may nagtidinig, lumalang araw ng waragin pansin ka, buhay natin sa pag-ibig mo. Ang higaya ng pagkay ng amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Good afternoon once again, grade 11. Grade 11 students, can I hear from you? Hello, grade 11.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello,
Hi,
good
ma'am.
afternoon.
Hi,
What about the grade 12? Grade 12?
Good afternoon. Hi, ma'am.
Hello. Good afternoon also to our senior high school teachers, to our school principal, and of course to our guests. Okay. To give us a few reminders during our virtual conference, may I call Miss Lam? Miss Lam?
Hello, good afternoon. Thank you, Miss Jam. Here's only the very few reminders, especially for students. Hello, once again. Good afternoon, everyone. I would just like to remind the students to take down notes and pay attention attentively because there will be an open forum a lot later wherein you can raise questions and other reactions about research. And you may unmute your microphone later, or you may use the meeting chat box if you have difficulties with your gadgets or if you have lagging problems and other internet connection problems. So later, I'm going to go back again to remind you that there will be an open forum and going to facilitate that certain portion. So please be interactive. You're not just here to just being here for compliance sake, but I want you to take this as an opportunity to have insights, okay? And especially for grade 11 in preparation for your research, in your practical research one, and of course, next year with practical research too. And at the same time with grade 12 students, as they are currently having their research, and may get some strategies or tips on how you're going to develop further about your writings, right? And I guess that would be all. Thank you, Ma'am Jam.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lambly. And now, to give us his opening remarks, let us welcome our ever-supportive school principal, Engineer Philip B. Carpina.
Good afternoon. And well, thank you, Senior High School faculty, for organizing this. Mrs. Cheryl Liquinia, the department head, the faculty, the guest, Sheila, good afternoon, and my dear students, good afternoon. Well, research is an area with unlimited possibilities. You will always win if you do research. Number one in the list is the knowledge you will get. In research, your love for the truth will be strengthened. And of course, of the many virtues, will also be developed, such as patience, honesty, collaboration, and perseverance. I'm very happy, to see a former student, going into research. So I remember Sheila when she was in fourth year. So we would go out, from the science club, and if the grade 12, so you had your, this year you did not have any field trip. We had field trip last time when they were in fourth year. We went hiking, and congratulations. I hope you are learning a lot in the field that you chose. I wish that more students will be inspired to do research. So my dear students, I encourage you to listen to the talk and get inspired. And also, in this conference is actually our first attempt to stream it, in our YouTube channel. As they say in the mga vlog, si Sir Jake. Don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so again, thank you very much, and I wish everyone the best, that we get the most out of this talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sir Philip. So to officially introduce to us our guest speaker this afternoon, may I call Ma'am Camille Ramos.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Ma'am Jam, for that. So good afternoon, grade 11 and grade 12 students, and to our teachers, as well as to our beloved principal, Sir Philip Carpina, and to our guest speaker. Okay, so this afternoon, the task of introducing our guest of honor and speaker is such a great privilege. She is a woman virtue, and she is a biologist. She graduated, or she finished her Bachelor of Science in Biology in the University of the Philippines, Cebu. She was a former quality control analyst and research and development assistant at our monitoring services. Currently, she is a conservation education officer at the Philippines Biodiversity Conservation Foundation Incorporated. After all, she had become the person she is now because of the virtues and values that was developed and nurtured in her during her education. Okay, because she is a Type 2 alumni class of 2011, a book associate editor, okay, of our school, the Typhoon High School. So let us welcome our guest speaker, who's no other than our very own Miss Shiela Olimpos. Let's give her a big
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can see me. Yes, thank you, Sir Jake, for managing my presentation. I experienced some technical difficulties kagina sang invocation. So I hope you can hear me well. Thank you, Sir Carpina and Ma'am Dikinya for inviting me into this. This will be my first ever career talk, and it's very special because I'm talking in front of my former teachers and syempre mga senior high schools. And with this, I hope to encourage you more to be in research. So I'm Shiela Olimpos again, the Conservation Education Officer of Philippines Biodiversity Conservation Foundation. And today, I am gonna give you a glimpse of the life of a wildlife biologist. So this is Living the Wildlife, Career in Research and Conservation. Okay, next. Yes, so as what Ma'am Camille introduced, I'm a graduate of Bachelor of Science in Biology. So when I tell people that I'm a biology graduate, amo gid ni permi ang ilang nga notion na, so you're gonna be a doctor. You won't be a doctor, you won't proceed to med school, so you'll be a teacher. But then, may ara man naghambal na, sayang, wala siya nag-doctor. So it's like, for many people, if you're a biology graduate, it's either you go into medicine or you be a teacher. But, next slide, please. But then, as a biologist, you can be a researcher. You could be a wildlife biologist, a botanist, marine biologist, so on and so forth, depending on what you specialize. So you can work outside sa field or you can work inside sa lab. So there are endless possibilities. So take note nga, if you're a biology graduate, it doesn't mean nga duha lang imo nga career choices. That's a very, very wrong notion about BS biology. Next slide, please. So why did I choose nga ba the research path? So when I was in college, sa UP, ang curriculum namon is more on geared up to research. So we are exposed into field work. As you can see, gakadto kami sa dagat, sa mangroves, sa mountains, sa forest. And then, ang amon nga data nga na-gather outside sa field, kaya we process it in the lab. So as you can see, naka-handle kami sharks, naka-dissect kami kuring, and then, the turning point in my life was when I was in third year college. Dira, we had an comparative anatomy na subject. And then, dito ko na-realize na I'm really not good in anatomy. So, how can I become a doctor if I hate anatomy? That would be a major subject when I go to medicine. Because I took up biology before, thinking that I will become a doctor. So, sang fail ko, wala ko na-fail, pero ang ako nga grado, tres, which is kabit, kumbaga, tsakto-tsakto lang makapasar. When I received that grade sa anatomy namon, dito ko nahambal nga, hindi kuya para doktor, kay ang anatomy ko, lang, pasar. So, that's why, then, I was certain na that time nga, hindi ko mag-doctor, and then, ang career nga gusto ko is something na would expose me to nature. Gusto ko mag-field kami, gusto ko mag-sampling sa field, gusto ko maglagaw. That's why I chose the research path. Next slide, please. So, when I was in college, kay amo to certain ako nga hindi ko gusto sa lab maobra, gusto ko outside ang akong nga work. But then, my expertise as a researcher or as a wildlife biologist was honed when I joined PhilBio, or Philippines Biodiversity Conservation Foundation. So this is the company that I am affiliated now. So ang office namon, not many of you know, is ara sa Bacolod lang, sa 12th Street, Lacson. So we're a Bacolod-based non-government NGO that envisions the long-term conservation of the Philippines' native and endemic wildlife and its habitat. And this is for the benefit of the future generations. So with PhilBio, dira ko na expose kung ano gid ang research, because when you're a fresh graduate, abi mo na balaan mo na tanan, or like kabalo ka na kung ano himuon mo sa life, but then ang when you go to your work na, mas dira pagid ka nga mahasa. So I'm affiliated sa PhilBio, or you can like us on Facebook, Philippines Biodiversity Conservation Foundation. And then if you have Twitter, you can tweet us at PH Biodiversity. So our operations kay all throughout the Philippines na siya. So in the next slides, I will tell you kung ano ang amon nga ginahimo. Okay? So I'm a wildlife biologist. When people ask me, what's your work? What's your career? So I tell them na I'm a wildlife biologist. And then it's like they have this big question mark on their faces na, huh? Ano na? Diba? Though it's not that you encounter this type of career usually, diba? So ano gid ba lang ginahimo namon? Magbubukid, mga amo na. So what our parents think we do, what the media thinks we do, what our bosses think we do, what our friends think we do, but what we really do is all of it. So ang muning mga part-time jobs of a field biologist, kung makitaan nyo sa isa ka caricature dira, no? So that's amo na tanan ang amon nga ginahimo. So next slide please. So the first thing, or the very vital thing nga ginahimo namon is research. We go to the field to research. Nga kinanglan mag-research how? Bakit babalyo na balyo tayo sa research? Because we need scientific data to make well-informed decisions for policy making. Kaya because of the data that we have, we know better and we make well-informed decisions para sa aton na policies. And then research is what separates opinions versus facts. And then we cannot simply rely on intuition, tradition, and other people's authority and luck. So amo na kinanglan ta mag-research kay dapat kabaluta, because with research may mga evidence ta kung ano nga i-make na mga decisions. Like this. So to start with research, it is very important, and I really want to reiterate this, that we need to secure necessary permits, and then we need to coordinate with the local government, sa mga locals nga kadtuan ta sa site. So in our case, we secure a gratuitous permit from the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, allowing us to conduct research sa forest. So we present our proposal stating why we need to study, what our study will be about, and then which also includes the methods that we are going to be applying in the field, so that aware sila. And then we always state that we would need to get samples from the field for further studies. So we need permit para legally accounted ang tanan nga ginahimo namon. Next slide please. So this is our team. We are all biologists, pero different ang specialization. So we have ornithologists, which studies birds. We have botanists, which studies plants. Herpetologists, these are the ones studying the reptiles and amphibians. We have bat specialists, and very important that we have the guides or the local communities, and in some cases we need security. So before the lockdown in 2020, we were very lucky kay we had a chance to conduct a survey in Tawi-Tawi, in the southern part of the Philippines. So for the Sulu hornbill, which is one of the critically endangered hornbills in the world. So this is our team, the upper photo, amo na ang amon nga team. As you can see, nag-include kami mga Philippine Marines because of security issues. But everything is safe naman there because we have coordinated with the local government. So as you can see, composite ang amon team, no? Tanan nga areas may gina-study. The forest is our lab and classroom. Kay sa forest, dira kami ga-experiment. And then at the same time, we learn things. So it's like a bigger classroom. We get to apply things that we've learned in the classroom. And then dira man kami damo ma-observe na something new, just like the lab. So amo na siya ang amon nga playground as wildlife biologists. So amon nga ginahimo usually. So we set up our tents. Tent lang kami. We camp. And then sometimes when we go to very remote na gid na areas, it needs special na mga transportation. So sometimes gasakay kami sa rook. This is the rook sa Marines, ginatawag nila. Or mga big na gid na mga wheels na mga sasakyan para makalabot kami sa mga far-flung areas na very pristine pa ang forest. Next slide. So just to run you down, no, what we do. So the ornithologist, kay amo na sila ang ga-study sa birds. So the early bird catches the worm. So if you're studying animals, you must also imitate what the animal's behavior is. So ang birds, they wake up very early. They're up very early. So as ornithologists, you also need to start sampling at 5:30 a.m. Kay up early ang birds. So you need to listen to the bird calls. Kay different birds have different calls and you can identify birds based on their calls. So you also need to understand and observe bird behavior. Kung ga-feed ba na sila, or are they in mixed flocks? What fruits are they eating? What trees do they prefer to build their nest on? And then you also need to record the bird species, photograph the birds, and also to ring band them. So when you ring band birds, it's for palatandaan kung it's like kung butangan mo sing-sing ang bird, if we put on ring, kay may ara na siya mga codes. So when we get back to the same site, kag makuha to namon liwat ang bird na may ring, may ara na kami data nga, on 2019 we got the same bird and now it weighs and now it's pregnant. So that's a good indicator nga, this bird is thriving in the ecosystem because it has able to reproduce. So isa na siya ka technique. And then we mostly observe birds. So when we go to the site, we record different bird species because we need to know ano na mga klase sang birds ang ara da sa certain area para may ara kami sang baseline data. Next slide, please. The second slide are the botanists. So this is where I belong because I specialize in plants. So ang ginahimo naman namon niya as botanists is we document fruiting and flowering plants. So to identify plants, it's very important that you you document the fruits and the flowers because these are its identifying characters. So as much as possible, we identify plants to species level. We collect herbarium specimens. So we collect the plants, we preserve it, and then we deposit it sa museum. So that na kung may ara ma-study next time, there are voucher specimens na nga. Hindi na siya magkadto sa field to study, kundi dira na lang siya sa mga preserved specimens ma-study. And what we do is we also describe new species of plants. If we are lucky to encounter mga bagong species, we describe them. and that we name them. And then lastly, we study their taxonomy. And also, we also get their DNA for verification kung amo man gini siya nga species of plants. So, amo ni siya ang mga plants na na-encounter naman sa forest. If you've heard of the Rafflesia, the biggest flower. So, diri lang na siya ging photograph sa Bago City. Kay diri sa Negros, sa Bago lang gid na siya makitaan. And then, we have a pitcher plant diri sa Philippines. Damo ta klase sang pitcher plant. And then, many, many more ornamental plants. Because the Philippines is very rich in plants. We have about 10,000 species of native plants, and half of which, or 50%, ay sa Pilipinas lang gid makitaan. Next slide, please. So, I'm very happy to share to you nga I have been a part of 2 new discoveries. So, in 2017, we discovered this new species of mistletoe, the Amima lysei. So, this was named after our executive director, Lisa Paguntalan, to honor her dedication in wildlife conservation. So, may ara ta mistletoe, damo ta klase sang mistletoe. Diba when you heard of mistletoe kay inyo na remember is ang Christmas tradition na you need to kiss someone under the mistletoe kay it signifies good luck, diba? But did you know that mistletoes are parasitic plants? So gatapik na sila sa trees para magkuha sang nutrients. So this one we described from Balinsasayaw Twin Lakes Natural Park. This is the Amima lysei. Next slide, please. So our discovery we're very lucky that our discovery has been featured in different media outlets. So na-feature siya sa GMA News Online, and different articles have been made because of this discovery. So lucky for us. And just recently this February, I was also part of the discovery of a new species of lipstick vine, the Asiananthus regiae. This is part of our survey in Tawi-Tawi, and this is named naman after Reggie Sahali Generale for initiating biodiversity conservation in Tawi-Tawi. So this has been the new species of lipstick vine described after 20 years. So next slide, please. Okay. Atong lipstick vine, it's a new species, and it has been discovered sa Tawi-Tawi, which is a poorly researched areas, and it has the same habitats na critically endangered na Sulu hornbill. So this is a big discovery for us. Kay it placed Tawi-Tawi in a limelight na may ara pagali damo nga mga tanom kag mga sapat nga kailangan i-discover sa Tawi-Tawi. Next slide, please. So, di ba, tapos na ta sa birds, tapos na ta sa plants. Now, let's go sa mga nocturnals. So, sila naman ni ang mga herpetologists and bat specialists. So, herps or the amphibians, reptiles, and bats, they go out or they become active at night. So, ang mga tao nga go-work on this start sampling at 7 p.m. So, they walk sa forest, they look for different amphibians, reptiles, and bats. So what you do if you're a herpetologist, kay you need to handle reptiles and amphibians and bats. So kailangan kabalo ka mag-handle, kay you need to, kay some snakes are venomous, some frogs are poisonous and can kill you. And also ang bats kabalo naman ta subong because of the pandemic. It has given a very bad light sa ato ng mga bats, no? So, kailangan nga i-handle na sila safely, na hindi man sila ma-stress, because just like humans, dali man na sila ma-stress and gakapatay man na sila. So we also get their DNA sa ilang liver or sa ilang ears. Gina-punch na namon ng ilang ears to get DNA samples or sa hairs nila sa bats. And then we also preserve specimens para sa museum so that may ara for further naman na mga studies. So if you want to be a herpetologist and bat specialist, kay you need to have a brave heart, kay you will walk the forest sa gabi. You only have your headlights for light. And then kailangan mo mag-handle man sang snakes. So you need to face your fears. If you have fear of snakes, you also need to handle mga bayawak, as you can see in the picture. Ging preserved na siya namon nga bayawak. And then sa bats naman, the not so good thing about handling bats naman is that they bite. And when they bite, it really hurts. So importante nga, you know how to handle them well. Next slide, please. So what we need, so di ba nag-ano na kami, we went to the field, we collected data so that we know kung ano ang ara ng mga wildlife in a certain area. So we know what to protect. Kabaluta sang ilang mga kabaluta on what trees to plant in that area, what trees naturally grow in the area for reforestation. So then the next thing that we do as wildlife biologists is that we need to translate science for the public. So this is a different approach naman because this will hone your communication skills on how you can simplify scientific terms so that the public will appreciate and understand what we are studying. So next slide, please. So para matranslate namon ang science into public knowledge, we conduct conservation, education, and awareness activities. So makita nyo, we conduct lectures, we conduct trainings sa field, and then may ara man kami mga activities where you can volunteer, just like this Siloy Watch or the Negros Hornbill Count, where you get to be a citizen science. When we say citizen science, these are the people nga do not have the scientific background or not biology graduates, but are helping us in collecting data. But of course, we facilitate or gina-guidean man na namon sila. So what citizen science can do is that mas ma-aware ang mga tao on the state of our forest, kay sila gid ang go-walk through the forest, and then they will be exposed kung ano nga mga different kinds of wildlife ang ara diri sa aton sa Negros, for example. So we have that. We also publish books like this, birds, like this photographic guide of birds of Negros, Panay, and Cebu. And then kung makita nyo, we are teaching people from all walks of life and of different ages. May ara tigulang, may ara bata, may ara coming from the academe, may ara kami mga student naman na mga volunteers na mga ka-age nyo man na very interested man sa wildlife. Kasi kung makita namon nga interested sila or ga-volunteer sila, we really make sure nga ginatudloan namon sila kung paano mag-handle wildlife para ma-appreciate man nila. Okay, next slide. Just an example, in Negros, we are part of the Provincial Wildlife Month Festival. We are part of the organizing committee. So, if kabati ka mo sini, this is a month-long celebration to raise awareness of the wildlife species naton diri sa Negros. So if kakadto ka mo da sa kilid bala sang Capital Lagoon, we have there a conservation center or a breeding center. Makita nyo da ang different kinds of birds, of reptiles, amphibians na diri lamang sa Negros makita. So if you have time, if wala na COVID, kay I recommend you to visit that para you will be acquainted kung ano ang aton na mga local wildlife. So as part of our activity to raise awareness, we conduct mga photo exhibits of birds, of different wildlife nga kami ang nag-take while we were on the field, no? So ginabutang na siya namon sa Ayala or sa SM para naman nga maka-attract man. And then we also conduct mga exhibit lectures. Also, kung makita nyo, or if you're aware, there is also a provincial wildlife quiz bowl, no? So ang amo ni nga group in your lower right, no? So these are the winners of the National Wildlife Quiz Bowl held in Davao City. So we have the Negros Occidental High School as the champion. So nagkadto sila sa Davao to represent Negros, and they won amongst all other schools from the National Capital Region, from the Mindoro and Palawan. So isama ni siya, this is also our way to get the students acquainted sa biodiversity. And then we also organize field trips wherein ang mga bata amon man gina go into bird watching, biomonitoring, and many more. So this requires a lot of hiking, field trips. Kung amo ng trip nyo, if you really love nature, you can contact us or volunteer with us para ma-facilitate namon. Next slide, please. Very important then is to use science to influence policies. So, di ba, nagkadto na kami sa field. We gathered the necessary information on the different wildlife na naga-reside sa forest. Then what now, right? What we do is we present these results sa aton mga lawmakers and create or give recommendations to them kung ano ang mayo nga mga policies to protect our biodiversity. So one thing that we have created is the Negros Island Biodiversity Strategy and Action Plan, which is now the framework for biodiversity conservation sa Negros Island. So amo na ni siya, because of the data nga amo nakuha sa field, kabalo na ta subong kung what are the proper trees to plant dito sa patag. Ano ang mga birds naga-exist sa Mount Canlaon, no? So hindi na siya pwede nga ma-plant ka lang sang mahogany dito sa Mount Canlaon because in Mount Canlaon wala na to ga-exist ang mahogany. Gingdala lang na dito. So you are destroying the natural biodiversity. So hindi pwede na mapalagpat lang ta plant kung ano nga trees ang aton gusto because we need to follow the natural na mga species nga ara sa forest. So this is me presenting our recommendations sa aton nga provincial sangguniang panlalawigan or sa aton nga SP board on the Negros Island Biodiversity, telling them what are the species that are endangered, what are the species that need conservation attention diri sa Negros. The next slide, please. All of this we do in order to create a science-based conservation. So may basis ang aton nga pag-conserve. So one thing here is the NOCWACA or the Negros Occidental Coastal Wetlands Conservation Area. If you happen to go sa south na part sa Negros, dira sa Bago, Pulupandan, Valladolid, Ilog, you will see some of the signages of NOCWACA. So it's a Ramsar site, meaning ang dira nga coastal na wetlands holds very high biodiversity. It holds about 72 species of birds and 6 threatened species. So na-declare na siya as a Ramsar site or biologically important kay ang mga migratory birds from China, from Taiwan, nagalabay na dira sa NOCWACA as we call it, para mag-feed. So, it needs protection para hindi siya pag-ikatayon, hindi siya pag-i-hunt, kag i-protect ang ilang space. Kay, di ba, makadulong na din sila para mag-feed, and then, by September, mabalik naman na sila dito sa China, sa Taiwan, kay dito ginailang balay. So, they just come here they just migrate here for feeding, and then, gabalik na sila dito. So because of our research, we supply the data nga sa provincial government na, these are the bird species that are found in Negros in south of Negros Occidental, and damo gali threatened. So we proposed it to become a Ramsar site, and with the help of the DENR, our provincial government, and the local government dito, kay na-declare siya as the 7th Ramsar site. So if makadto ka mo to, damo ka mo makitaan nga birds, na mga migratory birds. So tandaan yung lawig pa na ilaging halinan. So kinanglan din na sila protektahan. Next slide please. So after all, makapamangkot ka mo guro, where biologists are needed. Diin gid bala kinanglan, or if I'm a biology graduate, diin ko ay pwede ka work. So you can work in different corporations like the Ayala Foundation. Kay they hire biologists because they have this mga gina-adapt nga sites for conservation. So to plan their conservation initiatives, kinanglan na nila mga biologists. Also, pwede ka man maka-work sa Energy Development Corporation or sa mga mining firms for their biological monitoring. And then, very obvious is ang DNR. You can also work in the local government, diri sa aton nga province, or sa mga other cities and municipalities. Kay may ara na sila designated na environment office. So you can apply there. And then, may ara man mga Born to be Wild, mga National Geographic, na mga opportunities nga pwede kagid maka-apply if you're a biologist. And also other NGOs like the Philippine Eagle Foundation, they're hiring biologists also to study on eagles and its habitats. Next slide, please. So I hope I have persuaded you to become a wildlife biologist already. So why become one? Because we are an endangered species. So gamay lang gid kami ang may-ari amo ni nga career, because when we held conferences gani, kay the most that the most participants that we recorded is mga 200 to 300 lang. But imagine 7,107 ang islands ng Philippines. Tapos damo sang aton nga mga wildlife, ang aton ng mga forest ga-decline na kay wala may ga-study. So we really need wildlife biologists, no? Tapos also because gamay lang, you can really find your niche there in your career, kay tungod nga not many venture into this type of career. You get to explore sites not everyone can visit because some of these sites are very far-flung or restricted only for studies. This makes you well-rounded because it exposes you to field work, it hones your communication skills, and then you get to interact with people of different walks of life. May pabata man, may ara tigulang, may ara from the science field, may ara mga artists. So it makes you very, very sociable. Every day is also an adventure. Kay tungod sa mga ginapangkadtuan nga lugar, tapos ga-camp pa kami for 10 days. So adventure gid siya. It's not it's going out of your daily routine, of your comfort zone. And lastly, you get to help the environment and the communities. So subong nakit-an taman because of the pandemic, di ba na I think one thing that COVID taught us is to be aware of the environment issues that we are facing right now, no? kay nakita ta kung ano ang pwede na mahimo sang ato nature when it's not fully at its best na state, no? We get diseases, we get di ta kabalo, no, kung anong matabo. So with this one, with becoming a wildlife biologist, you help the environment heal, and at the same time you educate communities. So next slide. And so I think that's all. I hope I have inspired you to become a biologist or to pursue a biology degree when you graduate sa Taytong. So I hope you all learned a thing or two. That's my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.
Hey, thank you so much, Ma'am Sheila.
Thank you.
We will have now the open forum with Miss Lamb. Miss Lamb.
All right. Hello. Once again, thank you so much, dear speaker, in imparting your experiences and expertise towards biological research. So with all the things that we have heard from our speaker, I guess it's the time for us to also to hear majority. Okay, we need to hear more response, or let's say questions from our students, right? Your response might be again in the form of a question or the learnings itself. So again, you may unmute and directly refer your question to our speaker, or use the chat box to communicate your learnings or questions, or whatever it is that you want to share. Also your experience while listening, right? Further questions regarding on how you want to get involved in the future as you want to be in the workforce in the future or whatsoever. So, grade 11, are you up now? Grade 12? You there? Okay, we have first question, right? So, let's hear from Mom Cheryl. Mom, here's actually the question. The question says, since you are an NGO, how do you get funding for research? Oh, this is actually a very interesting question.
Yes. Hi, Ma'am Dikinia. So thank you for your question. So as an NGO, we apply to grants. So we write proposals. So there's a proposal na mo naka-state what we will do with the money that they will be granting us. So that includes research, may ara man mga community involvement and livelihood, and also mga site management. So we submit proposals to them, comprehensive proposals sa mga funding agencies like the USAID, also the National Geographic na foundation, may man the Foundation for the Philippine Environment, and many more. Also, we submit mga proposals sa the province of Negros. They are very our province is very accommodating when it comes to environmental research naman through their Environment and Management Office. So that's it. Basically, we submit proposals.
Well, there, I guess, Ma'am, you are now convinced with the answer of our speaker. So this proposal, it reminds me of a concept paper wherein you're trying to, concept paper, right, dear speaker?
Yes, Ma'am.
Okay. So actually, we're having that as our lesson sa inyo.
Tas parang kailangan mo siya i-defend sa mga funding agencies why you need this money, what are you gonna use with this money. So amo gid na siya to.
Exactly. That's actually the principle behind writing concept paper.
Yes.
You need to gain support for a certain cause, for a certain solution for community problem.
Yes.
We have here, Ma'am, second, coming from Mr. Kurt Matitan, and the question says, Mom, does your agency also experiment on the living organisms? I don't know what exactly this. So you might also want to answer, Ma'am.
So I think ang ginamin ni Kurt, tama ba?
Kurt, would you like to specify further? Okay, and he said like things that need ethical consideration.
What mga living organisms that we experiment is tong mga birds, bats, reptiles, and amphibians. So amo na siyang nga gina-focus on ang mga wildlife no sa forest. And then kailangan magid na siya ethical consideration because when you handle it, you need to be also very careful. You need to be equipped and also to be certified nga or experienced ka when you handle it. Kasi those all the wildlife are protected by the law. So hindi mo na siya pwede nga kwaon mo lang ang bird kag pagustuhan mo lang pagustuhan mo lang siya research without knowing what are your objectives. So amo na siya, those are the organisms that like for example sa bats, we have study in bats and its parasites, mga kuto, ectoparasites is what we call it, because it affects the bat's life cycle man. So that's one research that we had.
All right. So I guess the question of Kurt is answered.
Di, ma'am. I have a question.
Okay, go on, Ramil.
Ma'am, as a biologist, how can a biologist makes people lives easier?
Okay. So as a biologist, how can I make the life of the people easier? So, diba, what we do is that we conserve our biodiversity. So, for example, ang amon nga research kay ginagamit namon para mag-protect sa forest, diba? So, diin balata gakuha sang tubig nga ginainom ta, ginapaligo ta, diin ta diba sa watershed. So, if wala ta ginaprotektahan, wala ta ginastudihan ng aton nga watershed, wala kita sang tubig. And also, with the recent na flooding na experience ta sa North Negros, that's also effect na sang mga different human activities nga ginapanghimo sa Northern Negros Natural Park. So we are also tapped to study on kung paano na mapa-improve ang forest, ano ang mga programs na kailangan para ma-prevent na ang mga flooding. So it's basically interconnected because with biodiversity, hindi ta lang siguro ma-feel, no? Kay though every day na we breathe the clean air, the usual, pero because of our study, because biologists study these things, that's why nga gaka-enjoy ta sang water, sang air, sang medicine that come from plants and many more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome.
And another question raised by again Kurt, and the question says, when you need a dead specimen, ma'am, but there is no available corpse of that specific species, do you resort in taking away the life of organism?
Oh, okay. Oh, that's very good question, Kurt. So, before I'll answer your question, I would just like to tell you na we don't use the word species. We use the word species because species refers to a coin na siya. When you're talking about wildlife, use species, may it be, because species is the singular and plural form na siya. There is no such thing as species, okay? So, i-take note yung na kay isa na siya ka common na misconception man. So, when we need a dead specimen pero wala siya be available, no? Ideally, kung may new species of let's say for example snake, no? Ideally, para ma-describe mo na siya is you need to take a specimen of a male snake a female snake, an adult snake, and a juvenile snake. Tapos may mga different morphs pa na siya. Same species lang pero lain gali ang color. So damo kagid mapatay nga animals kung tutuodon gid, di ba? Kay kinanglan mo man ang dead specimens to describe it. But then we take into consideration first, is it critically endangered na species? Kay if critically endangered na siya, syempre hindi ito na napagpatsyon. Kay gamay na lang na sila sa wild. Diba? So what we do is, because very powerful naman ang ato ng mga photographs, diba? Ato ng mga lenses, very high na ang megapixels. So what we do is photograph every single part of it, no? Kung hindi man kami makakuha sang dead or di kami kakuha sang corpse. Pero if, for example, we know na damo pa na siya sa damo pa ng iyang population sa wild, we get, pero hindi nga mga 1 or 2 replicates lang. So hindi pwede. You need to take in consideration kung pila kadamo ang imo nga kwaon na specimen.
All right. So I hope na answer ni speaker ang question, no, Kurt? And before going to move forward, I missed to raise the question coming from Gian Belonio. And she said, "Hi, ma'am. Do you also work with marine biologists?"
In our organization, we are all biologists nga sa terrestrial. So wala kami anyone in the marine field, but we also work with them. Kay, for example, sa coastal na mga wetlands, 'di ba ang ato na mga ang ato na seas, kay makita ka mo damo man na birds, 'di ba? So we also work with them. Kay when you protect the seas, you also protect the birds. Kay ang ginakaon sang imo nga pispis, kay amo man ang mga fishes din, ang mga small fishes and ang mga shells na da and mga mollusks. So we also work with them. Interconnected lang gid ya.
All right, it's like a sharing one expertise to all. Sige. Another question coming from Piers Ivor Murillo, and he said, "Hi there, ma'am. I was wondering if you guys have any plans to revitalizing the wildlife reserve sa May Lagoon."
So I think Piers is referring to the Negros Forest Ecological Foundation beside Lagoon. So actually, it's still there man gyapon, no? And then damo na nada sila mga ginabreed. So damo na da sila ginabreed na mga animals that are from the wild and are critically endangered. So gingdala there as a breeding center para padamuon and eventually i-release na sila sa wild. So take note, the one beside Lagoon is not a zoo but rather a breeding center. So I think it's still working man there. Where you can visit naman dito. So continuous man na da ang ilang operations.
Yes. Thank you for that, ma'am. Another from Erica Harder, and she said, "Hi, ma'am. Did you ever have a failed or unsuccessful research, ma'am? If so, what is this and how did you handle it?" Mga misbelievers na mga pamangkot.
Okay. Hi, Erica. Oo, damo na ko mga failed pag mga unsuccessful pa lang from college pa lang. Maano kagid, masad ka balak because you put in so much time and effort, tapos you really did well, nag-research ka man, pero nga you that failing is part of research. And then all the more maka-learn patagani sa aton mistakes, no? Mas maka-learn ta sa Hello? Can you hear me pa? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Okay. So, I think I'm having technical difficulties. Can you tell me if you can hear me well?
We can hear you a little, ma'am. But sometimes, if you start speaking, nagkakaduda ka na. Choppy.
Okay. Right now, yeah, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Yes.
Okay. So amo to, I just want to tell you nga don't stop sa imong research, be committed but be flexible. When you failed sa imong research, it means that you just need to research more or to maybe tweak the methodology. But no, even na failed na siya, that's still data. So don't be sad because now you know better what to do.
All right, that's very insightful, right? Tip, no? And when you say unsuccessful, doesn't mean it's end of the world, right? It's actually an opportunity for you to grow better in terms of data collection, especially the one our speaker mentioned about methodology. And more, it says here, coming from Martin Uy, he said, "Hi, ma'am, what advice you can give for us who are still unsure of their final career to be taken?" Hello, ma'am. Can you still hear me?
Hello, ma'am. Sorry. Could you repeat the question?
All right. So, coming from Martin Oy, he said, "Hi, ma'am. What advice can you give for us who are still unsure of their final career to be taken?"
Okay. So you're senior high right now, diba? Or you're gonna take you're gonna go to college. Siguro what advice I can tell you is that take the career path that passion mo or you feel like dira mo magamit ang imong core competency. Kay in that way mas mahon na siya ang imong skills, and then you will feel like it's not draining, it will not drain your energy, but then fulfilled ka at the end of the day.
Well, that's really true and correct. Satisfaction, fulfillment, and it feels not dragging to go to work. Yes. And
in the bad day, padayon ka lang
Yes.
gyapon.
Yes, all right, that's very true. Another thing from Juan Carlos Lupisan, he said, "How do you deal with an encounter hostile animal poachers, if there is?"
Oh, sa animal poachers, that's very tricky though sa animal poachers, because one thing is we are not the agency that is implementing, or hindi kami pwede manakop kay hindi man kami ang implementing agency when it comes to poachers, diba? So what we do is we document it and then i-report sa mga agencies like DNR na amo na ang gakatabo. And one thing also to deal with that is to create programs to educate the people or the community on the importance of the wildlife and the forest. Ipaintindihon mo gid na sila dapat nga tungod sa lasang may ara kamo tubig. Kung sige nyo na kahoy, sige kamo da pang hunt, diin kamo makuha sang inyong tubig, magkadugay. So education is really key to stop poaching.
Is that also, ma'am, related to animal trophy, that like a trophy hunting?
Yes, ma'am. Amo man na ang amon nga ginahimo. We need to educate them on the species nga ila biging patay, or tell them nga critically endangered ba siya or threatened. In that way, mas ma-appreciate nila balahaw.
All right. Sige, ma'am. We have last two. We have coming from Kurtan again, and he's asking in doing research, are you also applying statistical tools like t-test and ANOVA in biological research? Statistical tools, ma'am.
Okay. Do feel ko si Kurt, tama ba? Si Kurt daw
Yes.
gusto niya gid ni mag-biologist mo kay daw damo siya question. Pero that's a very good question. Pero yes, we do statistical analysis because statistics gives life to data. So ang mga raw data namon gina-analyze na siya namon with statistics. In that way, we can infer something about sa mga na-collect namon na mga data.
All right. That's very true. It gives life, certainly. And last
Yes,
one.
it gives life to data.
Yes. Wala lagi ko din masabat. Amo ginang principle behind using statistical tools. And let's have last from Elreen Rubica, and she said, "What are the frequent problems or difficulties that you encountered as a biologist?" And again, I repeat, this is the last response that we're going to hear from students. As for the rest that you have submitted their inquiries, sorry, or actually need to be time-bounded today. Sige, ma'am, go on.
So, if you have any other inquiries, pwede nyo gid ko ma-message sa Facebook. Just search my name or email me at shielaolimpos@philbio.org.ph. And then, ang mga difficulties nga na-encounter naman, actually damo. First is logistics. Kay ang amon nga ginapagkantuan nga areas kay very far. Second is funding. Kay, as you can see, I don't know if you're well aware na ang mga scientists there sa Philippines are not that very damo ang funding, no? Hindi amo na. So, kailangan namon kwarta man para mag-research. And then, ang budget ng government naton is not diverted to research. Second, we need to coordinate well with the local government, to the local communities, sa mga guides dito. And in some cases, hindi sila gusto na studyhan ang ilang lugar with some personal reasons or mga kay may mga land dispute sila, abi nila kuwaon namon ilang duta. So it needs it takes time na kailangan namon mag-meet pa sa ila, mag-i-explain pa, and then so many meetings pa to get them to agree na what we do will benefit them. So isa na siya. And then also the bureaucracy in the Philippines, nagahamper man na siya sa amon nga research as biologists because sometimes kahinay gid mag-move ang amon nga proposals sa government. So gakadugay ang it's a race against time man. So isa pa gid na nga pa-hamper sa amon na mga operations.
All right. With all of the answers and questions, by the way, and I hope it was answered well. And I guess it was really answered well. And with that, I really thank you, ma'am, for committing your time with us this afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lamb. And thank you also to our students for raising those questions. And of course, thank you to Ma'am Sheila for answering those questions, for actually sharing and telling us the importance of research and its application. So I am sure that our senior high school students were able to learn a lot. And we hope that some of our students will also become biologists to help endangered species and, of course, our environment. Okay? So to officially give gratitude to our speaker this afternoon, okay, let us have Ma'am Daanoy for the presentation of the Certificate of Appreciation. Ma'am Daanoy.
Thank you so much to our dear speaker. We would like to present the Certificate of Appreciation. So the certificate reads, Bacolod Taitong High School Senior High Department present the Certificate of Appreciation to Sheila May B. Olimpos as resource speaker in the Career in Research Talk during the Career Fair Week of the Senior High School Department, given this 22nd of March 2021 via virtual conference, signed by the Senior High School Department Head, Mrs. Cheryl C. Diquinia, and School Principal, Engineer Philip Corpina.
Congratulations, Ma'am Olimpos, and thank you so much. Okay, so to end our virtual conference this afternoon, may I call on our Senior High School Department Head, Ma'am Cheryl Diquinia, to give us the closing remarks. Ma'am?
Okay, so once again, good afternoon. Our talk this afternoon, Career in Research, is very timely, no? Since number one, you are doing it right now. And so the idea is to give you actual or a real grasp of the relevance of doing research. And secondly, to show you that in whatever course you're going to take on later, definitely one of the exit points there is to go into research. And the importance of research, no, and the research output will depend on the field that it is conducted. No? But generally, the research will improve our way of life, decision-making, and methods. And from our speaker, to be successful in the field of research, this is what I was able to get. No? So number one, the following skills, no, must be possessed, no, by you in order to be successful in the field of research. So number one is you have to be good in reading, no? So because in reading, you get a knowledge base and you can do some critical thinking. And then of course, you need to be adept in writing, no? So because in writing, you communicate what you would like to know for your audience or later on when you write proposals. So you should know how to learn how to write. And of course, there is a need, no, if your research is successful, you need to have it published. And of course, arithmetic, because it will give meaning to your research. You need to be able to translate or to make meaning of your research by presenting your data. And just like what we have here, so you need also to be good in public speaking because you will be invited to scientific conference or media interviews. Another is your personal management skills. So research is not only the product of one person, but it's actually a product of a team. So that's why you have to work together harmoniously with your research group. No? And of course, networking, because you need to connect and to collaborate with your other researchers, with the community, and so on. Okay, so at this point, no, I would like to thank our guest speaker, Ms. Shiela Olimpos, because despite her busy schedule, she did not give any hesitation when I invited her to share with us today. So I learned something from you, Nat, no, Tamugid. Your patience, love for learning, and passion for research is truly evident in your work and in your talk. So we wish you more power as you continue to delve in protecting and discovering the beauty and diversity of our Philippine flora and fauna. And maybe someday, allow our senior high students to collaborate or consult with you in case the research studies aligns with your expertise. Thank you very much, Ms. Shiela. And of course, I would also like to acknowledge our advisors as the facilitators of our program this afternoon. Thank you, moms and sirs. And to our dear students for your presence. For the grade 11, you still have a lot of researches to conduct. And for grade 12, for sure, you will also have many in college. So with this talk, I hope that you're going to look at research with a clearer vision and enthusiasm, and not just an additional burden, but a chance or way to explore, to improve, to appreciate, to understand for the betterment of our well-being and the world. Once again, thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Diquinia. Okay, so by the way, I would like to remind our grade 12 and grade 11 students that after we sing our alma mater song, please, if you can turn on your cameras so that we can take a picture for our virtual conference this afternoon. Thank you.
Sir? Black.
Sir Jake? Okay, so maybe while Sir Jake is fixing the alma mater song video, I think we can take the time to take a picture na lang. Okay, can I request grade 11 and grade 12 students to please turn on your camera so that we can take a picture, a group picture.
Sure.
Wait lang. Miss Lam, can you also take a screenshot? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Can we do it sir, or right after the singing?
Yeah. And Sir Jay, can we have the first page of the slide? Okay, Miss Lam. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, smiles.
All right, there you go.
Okay. Thank you. So that's it for our virtual talk on career in research. Thank you so much, everyone. Grade 11 and grade 12 students. Bye. Okay, you can now leave, students. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Dili.